For what profit is it for men now in this present time to live in heaviness, and after death to look for punishment? O Adam, what hast thou done? For though it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone, but we all that come of thee, meaning that chosen line. So basically, the fall of the fall or the giants began with Adam and that chosen line of the Adamites, you know. And then when Adam went off, he started falling. That's what the scriptures mean about there were giants in the earth. This is Sirach 44, 1-3. Let us now praise famous men, our fathers that begat us. The Lord hath wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning. And you go back to the beginning, you look at Moses and Joshua. You know, the Most High led Joshua and Caleb to set up Israel to destroy these different nations, great nations, mighty nations, you know, and we were able to destroy them. Why? Because the Lord had given these men spiritual power, you know, power to be able to go to war for hours and not get tired. Such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power. And that's what it means. The same became great men of renown. Why? Because they had a great name at one time in the book of Genesis 6, but they fell from that estate. But then when you go back now and you read about these things, these acts, you see that there was greatness. They were men of renown. They were men looked up to. Why do you think that when the Lord delivered us out of the land of Egypt and we would go through the different lands of these different nations, they were nervous, they were scared? So when Joshua and Caleb went into to Jericho, and they met with Rahab the harlot, you know, she was like, look, you know, I'm gonna hide you, but you know, make sure that you take care of me, you know, because you know, basically she was saying that all them nations feared Israel because of what the Lord did for them. So it says, such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies. You know, and that's another thing. It wasn't just physical strength, you know, or spiritual power, or dealing with physical things, but also the laws, statutes, commandments, the wisdom, the knowledge that the Lord gave us, you know, such as the knowledge of King Solomon. All right, this is Deuteronomy 4-8. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my power commanded me. This is Moses speaking to Israel, that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. So what's that? That's renowned. That's what we were renowned for. You know, we were great people because the Most High was with us. We were elevated. We had power. For what nation is there so great who had the Most High so nigh unto them, as the Lord our power is in all things that we call upon him for? Why? Because the other nations, their gods are just idols. Their gods never did any great things for them. But then they see the power of Israel, which is Yahweh, do these great things and defend us and do many miracles for us, and them nations were nervous. And what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law? Why? Because the laws, statutes, and commandments is what separated us, or separates us from these nations. They have no morals. They have they have a certain moral code that they follow, but it only goes but so far, you know. But when you really dig into it, there's laws that the Lord gave us that separated us from these nations, from heathenistic things that they were doing. It says, and what nation is there so great that has statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I set before you this day? Now this is what happened. We went from this to this. Lamentations 2:15. All that passed by clapped their hands at thee. They hissed and wagged their head at the daughter of Jerusalem. And you see that even today. You know, these nations, these East Indians, Arabs, these honkies, you know, these different nations, they look at Jake, they look down on Jake. You know, they wag their head like, look at this simple-minded, you know, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? Because at one time we were a great people. We had power, we had riches, we had kings and rulers that were men of wisdom, knowledge, understanding. You know, it was so great that you had different monarchs from different countries coming to pay homage to Solomon, King Solomon. You know, that's the greatness and the stature that we were at, and we fell from that. And this is it right here. All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we look for. We have seen it. So they went from saying what great nation has all these great statues and has the Most High so near unto them, to look, these people, they don't fell. Look at them. These are the great people of the Lord. This is that great Jerusalem. These are the Israelites. The Lord hath done that which he had devised. He hath fulfilled his word that he had commanded in the days of old. He has thrown down and hath not pitied, and he hath caused thine enemies to rejoice over thee. He hath set up the horn of thine adversaries. And that's what happened. He threw us down. So we fell. Just like Adam fell and the men that came after him, so did we. Now let's deal with examples of great men. Abraham had 318 servants, which he used. They were trained servants, which he used to deliver Lot from the kings of Elam and other kings that were fighting against the king of Sodom and them. So the king of Elam, Kedar-laomer, and then other kings, Tidal, king of nations, and other ones like that, they had taken Lot captive, and Abraham with 318 of his trained servants went and fought against these kings and took his nephew back. That's power. How did he do that? Through the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, which the Most High had given him spiritual power. With 318 men fighting against these great kings. It says Gideon and his 300 against the Midianites. It was 300 men with Gideon, and they went against the Midianites, and the Midianites basically destroyed each other. And what was that? Spiritual power. Because if the Most High would have unleashed Gideon and the 300, they would have got busy. King David leaped over walls. His arms were made of. He said the Lord made his arms like steel, a bow of steel. He couldn't be broken. They would go through men in battle like nothing and not get tired. Benaiah slew 2 lion-like men of Moab, and he jumped in a snowy pit, and killed an actual lion. And the list goes on. And there was many great men and many great things that they did, dealing with wisdom, dealing with valiantness. Let's not talk about the Maccabees, Judas Maccabees and his brothers, and many other great things that men did. But what happened? We fell from that estate. That was a state we were in, but we fell from that. This is Isaiah 40:29. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increases strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. And that's the point that we're in. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. So basically, we're going to get the power. We're going to get spiritual power. And I'm going to say this for the record, the Lord is going to give us spiritual power, because Yahweh Shai had spiritual power, and he still had to endure until the end. He had the spiritual power. He had the ability to call legions of angels down to destroy the Roman Empire and to deliver Israel at the time. But you know what? It said that he was obedient unto death. So yeah, we are going to get spiritual power. You still have to endure to the end. Because you could get spiritual power and still, fall into the hands of these devils. Just like Yahweh Shai fell into the hands of them devils, and he had spiritual power. He could have just zapped them. When they first came to get him, they said, "Where's Yahweh Shai?" He said, "Here am I," and they all fell backwards. So he had the power. So when the Lord is going to give his men power. It says, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Meaning you're going to get that spiritual power back. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. You're going to be able to fly, like in the movie Hancock. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Why? Because when you went to war, the Lord would give you that power to go and destroy these nations, and you wouldn't get tired. All right? Now, we're going to return to that power. if we wait upon Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. This is the book of Genesis 3:22. And the Lord power said, Behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. And that's what we're doing right now. We're partaking of the tree of life. Therefore the Lord power sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. That's why nobody can come to it. The Lord has to draw you into it. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has to draw you into it. That's what Yahushua said, no man can come to me except the Father which is in heaven draw him, and I will raise him up, what? At the last day. So that's what the Lord is doing. He's raising us up now at the last day. We're starting to eat of that tree of life so that we may be able to live forever. All right. 2nd Ezra chapter 7:26. Behold, the time shall come that these tokens which I have told thee shall come to pass, and the bride shall appear, and she coming forth shall be seen that now is withdrawn from the earth. Because people that are not taking us seriously, even though we're out there teaching the word of the Lord, prophesying the destruction of this place, prophesying about the mark of the beast, warning them about the martial law, warning them about everything that's coming, and that the Lord is about to make his second debut, or second coming, should I say. They're not listening to us. They're not taking us serious. But the Lord is going to raise us up. Because now we're withdrawn from the earth. We're like the filth of the earth. We're like the offscouring, especially great millstone. We're like the offscouring of the earth, even among other Israelite groups that know that they're Israelites. We're just like the lowest scum on the planet to them. We're like the gum under their shoe. But that's all right, because the Lord said he's going to raise us up from this estate. This is the book of Zechariah 12:8, which is the last scripture. It says, In that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David. So that means we're going to get power. We're going to get that spiritual power, because Most High didn't make King David's arms of steel, just because he was just a regular man. No, he had spiritual power. And the house of David shall be as the Most High, as the angel of the Lord before them. So we're going to get that power. We're going to be brought back out of this lower state that we've been brought to, the Nephilim state, the fallen state. These chains of darkness are going to be broken, and the Lord is going to refresh us. But the final change to our bodies, to these corruptible bodies, is going to come at the very last minute, when we go up into the chariots and the Lord changes our bodies, these vile bodies, into the incorruptible bodies, or the immortal bodies that we're going to get to live in the kingdom with, to be able to have the laws into our inward parts, that we may have that heart of flesh. But before that, we are going to get power. Certain men are going to get more than others, but at the end of the day, the Lord promised that he would give us power. He said it in Isaiah the 40th chapter. He said it. He said, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with the wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. So that's pretty much the lesson. We fell from our great estate, and that's what it means in the book of Genesis, the 6th chapter, where it says they were men of renown, they were giants in the earth, and they pretty much fell, when they started dealing with the women of the other nations, because at that time the line was so pure that the Lord didn't want that line to mix back then. But you could have concubines, but back then it was like a strict thing that the Lord didn't want us to deal with the women of the other nations. And he even gave Abraham and Isaac a command not to take the wives for their sons out of the Canaanite women. So with that, I hope you brothers learned something. Until the next time, I say shalom.